The Roman Empire, an epic history. Get ready to embark on an unforgettable journey through the paths of the Roman Empire. At its peak around 117 AD, this grand political and social structure dominated the Western civilization like never before. With its foundations laid by the Roman Republic, the empire became the largest and most powerful political and military entity in the world at that time. And guess what, folks? It was just beginning its climb to glory. But like all great things, the Roman Empire also needed to evolve. In 285 AD, it had grown so vast that the central government in Rome could no longer efficiently govern it. Emperor Diocletian then divided the empire into two, the Western Empire and the Eastern Empire. It was a new era of challenges and opportunities for Rome. But let's turn back time and witness the birth of this great empire. It was when Augustus Caesar, around 27 BC, became the first emperor of Rome, and thus, with determination and vision, he ushered in an era of conquests and dominance. The story unfolded, and the Roman Empire experienced days of glory, but also faced challenges. And then, in the West, came the fateful moment, the final gasp of the Roman Empire. Romulus Augustus, the last Roman emperor, was deposed by the Germanic king Odoacer in 476 AD. It was the end of an era, but our story still holds many twists and turns. In the East, however, the Roman Empire continued its journey as the magnificent Byzantine Empire. It bravely survived challenges and endured for centuries until the fall of Constantinople in 1453 AD at the hands of the Ottoman Turks. A fascinating story filled with influences. And here comes the highlight of this journey, the lasting influence of the Roman Empire on Western civilization. Its contributions shaped virtually every aspect of Western culture, from politics and architecture to language and law, a truly powerful and inspiring heritage. After the epic Battle of Actium in 31 BC, a young man named Gaius Octavian Thurinus, the nephew and heir of Julius Caesar, ascended to the position of the first emperor of Rome, and thus, adopting the name Augustus Caesar, he ushered in an era of greatness and transformations. But my friends, let's clarify a common misconception. Julius Caesar, although often regarded as the first emperor, never held the official title of emperor. He was known as the dictator, a title granted by the Roman Senate due to his supreme military and political power. It was Augustus who received the title of emperor, with all its honors and powers for bringing stability and defeating Rome's enemies. He ruled the empire from 27 BC to 14 AD, leaving an impressive legacy. Augustus, the true architect of Rome, reformed laws and secured the empire's borders. With his loyal general Agrippa, he built the magnificent Pantheon, among other grand projects. He transformed Rome from a city of mud into a city of marble. And the period that followed, known as Pax Romana or Roman peace, was a time of unprecedented prosperity and stability that lasted for over 200 years. After Augustus's death, power passed to his successor Tiberius, and thus began an era of tumultuous succession. Tiberius, although following many of Augustus's policies, lacked his strength of character and vision. And this trend continued with the emperors who followed, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. Together, they formed the Julio-Claudian dynasty, carrying the names of the families from which they descended. While Caligula became notorious for his debauchery and apparent madness, his reign had a promising start, as did that of his successor Claudius, who expanded Rome's power and territory to Britain. But then, we come to Nero, whose reign was marked by chaos and his tragic end. After Nero's suicide, the empire was engulfed in a series of turbulent events known as the Year of the Four Emperors. Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian fought for power, bringing instability to the empire. Finally, Vespasian emerged victorious and founded the Flavian dynasty. His reign was marked by great construction projects, economic prosperity, and the expansion of the empire. The Colosseum in Rome was initiated by Vespasian and completed by his son Titus amidst natural disaster and reconstruction. Domitian, Tito's brother, continued the empire's expansion and enhancement. However, his autocratic approach and unpopularity in the Roman Senate led to his assassination in 96 AD. Get ready for a remarkable period in the history of Rome. After the Flavian dynasty, the empire was ruled by the Nerva-Antonine dynasty, bringing an era of prosperity and stability. This period is known as the reign of the five good emperors of Rome. Nerva, the successor of Domitian, inaugurated this new dynasty and ruled from 96 to 98 AD. Under his leadership, Rome began a path of renewal and reforms. Next, we had the legendary Trajan, who reigned from 98 to 117 AD. He was one of the most respected and notable emperors in Roman history, known for his military conquests and grand construction projects. Adrian assumed the throne in 117 AD and ruled until 138 AD. He was an intellectual leader and a great patron of the arts, strengthening the empire's borders and promoting internal peace. The next emperor was Antoninus Pius, who ruled from 138 to 161 AD. During his reign, Rome enjoyed an era of tranquility and prosperity, characterized by efficient and fair administration. And last but not least, we have Marcus Aurelius, who ruled from 161 to 180 AD. He was a philosopher-emperor, known for his profound reflections and leadership during challenging times. Under the rule of these 5 good emperors, the Roman Empire flourished. Rome became stronger, more stable, and expanded its reach and influence. The empire thrived both internally and externally. However, not all rulers of this dynasty were successful. Lucius Verus, co-emperor with Marcus Aurelius, had an ineffective reign, and Commodus, son of Marcus Aurelius, became one of the most infamous emperors in Roman history. With the death of Commodus, the Nerva-Antonine dynasty came to an end, but its legacy of prosperity and stability continued to influence Rome. Pertinax, who was likely involved in the assassination of Commodus, took power as the prefect. Our journey through the history of Rome now leads us to the Severan dynasty, a period filled with turbulent events and challenges for the empire. After the death of Pertinax, Rome witnessed a chaotic period known as the Year of the 5 Emperors. In the end of this period of instability, Septimius Severus emerged as the leader of the empire. Septimius Severus, ruling from 193 to 211 AD, founded the Severan dynasty. He was a skilled military leader who defeated the Parthians and expanded the empire's borders. However, Severus's extensive and costly campaigns in Africa and Britain contributed to Rome's subsequent financial difficulties. The empire faced significant economic challenges. Severus was succeeded by his sons Caracalla and Geta. However, the rivalry between the brothers led to a tragic outcome. Caracalla ordered the assassination of Geta, consolidating his power. Caracalla ruled until 217 AD, when he himself was assassinated by his bodyguard. Under his reign, there was an expansion of Roman citizenship, including all free men in the empire. This expansion of Roman citizenship, although seen as a progressive measure, also had financial motivations. The central government sought to increase tax revenue by including more people in the system. The Severan dynasty continued under the influence and manipulation of Julia Maesa, known as the Empress, until the reign of Alexander Severus. However, the tragic death of Alexander Severus in 235 AD plunged the empire into an unprecedented crisis. This crisis, known as the Crisis of the 3rd Century, lasted from 235 to 284 AD and was marked by civil wars, barbarian invasions, political fragmentation, and economic hardships. The Severan dynasty played a significant role in the fate of Rome, but the adversities faced during this challenging period had lasting consequences for the empire. Our historical journey continues, adventurers. Join us on the next thrilling adventure through the ancient world. Until then, our journey through the tumultuous events of the Roman Empire now takes us to its division into the East and West, marking a period of intense crisis. The imperial crisis was characterized by incessant civil wars, with military leaders vying for control of the empire. Widespread social unrest and economic instability also contributed to this turbulent period. The dissolution of the empire into 3 separate regions was a clear sign of the ongoing crisis. However, Aurelian, ruling from 270 to 275 AD, managed to reunify the empire with his skilled policies. But it was Diocletian who truly laid the foundations for a new order. He implemented the Tetrarchy, a system of government with 4 leaders, to maintain stability throughout the empire. Diocletian realized that the empire was too vast to be efficiently governed by a single individual. Around 285 AD, he divided the empire in half, facilitating more efficient administration. Thus, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, were born. This division allowed each part to be governed more focused and suited to its specific needs. Diocletian also established clear rules of succession to avoid conflicts. However, history proves that it was not always so simple. Two of Diocletian's successors, the generals Maxentius and Constantine, plunged the empire into civil war again after Diocletian's death in 311 AD. But this civil war culminated in a crucial turning point for the empire's history. Constantine emerged victorious and became the sole emperor of the Roman Empire. History continues to surprise us adventurers. In the next stage of our journey, we will explore the reign of Constantine and his important changes for the empire. Until then,